Hi, it's Trina here, back with more delicious dating tips. And today's topic is about, should we be idolizing other people's relationships? So I think for a lot of Black folks, this becomes important, particularly for those of us who might not have had the best examples of healthy, loving relationships in our own personal lives. So one of the things that I've been seeing, well, it's been going on for a long time, but that I've taken special note of lately is a sort of admiration that a lot of us have for, let's say, President Obama and Michelle Obama, or for, Jay-Z and Beyonce. Those are the two primary examples that come to mind. And so when we look at these relationships, we see what's going on the outside, and we think that we know them. We think that, we see them out, we see them being very affectionate or whatever it is, and we somehow think that that means we understand something about their personal dynamic and the way that they relate to one another. But the reality is, we really just catch a glimpse of their relationships. But the same goes for a lot of people in our own personal lives. We see, they're out with their spouse, or they're out grocery shopping, and that might be the one moment in the entire day where they were really happy with each other, but you don't know that. And so you think their entire relationship is this one moment that you get a glimpse into. And so then that becomes a standard for the kind of relationship that you think that you want, but you don't know enough about their situation or the dynamics of their relationship to know if that's something that you should strive to have in your own personal life. So one of the things that I think the problem that this causes is when you get into your own personal relationships. And then, I know sometimes I've read a lot of blogs where they talk about, this guy, he's looking for his Michelle Obama or whatever it is. We say a lot of things like that, or I read a lot of comments like that on various blog sites. And I'm thinking to myself all the time, what does that really mean? So you're claiming all these things that you want in a significant other based on someone that you don't even know. So this really unfair comparison is set up. And so you really have to think about, the dynamics of the kind of relationship that you want. So it's one thing aesthetically, if you see someone that, you think is really attractive, you're like, oh, there's something about that person that I like and the kind of mate that I want to be with. Or if you admire someone and they have qualities that you want to have, within your own self and you want to cultivate in yourself, I think that's great. But when you look at other people's relationships, use it and take it with a grain of salt. But especially if you don't really know them personally, there's no way to really tell if the kind of relationship, that dynamic they have is going to work for you. And so one of the things that I would encourage you to do is think about the kind of relationship that you want to have, because every couple is different. And the truth is, the dynamics and the rules of engagement in one couple's relationship might not work for yours. And so that's why it's really important to understand what it is that you need and want in a relationship, and whoever you decide to be with, for the two of you to sit down and come up with what the rules of engagement are going to be for your specific relationship. Because the truth is, if you sat down with a lot of the couples that you admire and you find out what makes the relationship work, it might not necessarily work for you. And just because you see one successful relationship, it doesn't mean the rules that apply to their relationship are going to apply to yours. So it's really, really going to be critical that you take the time out to understand, first of all, what your needs, wants, and desires are, and then understand the needs, wants, and desires of the person that you're entering into the relationship with, and then you coming together as a unit to decide what's going to work for you. So, sometimes people think that, this laundry list of sort of relationship sort of traits, is going to be the perfect fit. And that's not always the way that it works. And that's what, breaks up relationships, or how people wind up in divorce court, trying to, replicate exactly someone else's relationship. I also find this happens for people whose parents have been married for a really long time. And sometimes they say, my parents were married for, 35 years and, they've never really had this kind of problem. So, or they think, my parents have been married for, however many years, and I want something exactly like that. And, I think it's great if you've had an example, of parents who have been married for a really long time. But the truth is that, the kind of relationship that they have, the dynamics that they have, might not necessarily be exactly what's going to happen for you. So the takeaway from today is, look at these relationships. It's great to, applaud people's love, because sometimes, love can be challenging, and finding the person who's right for you can be tough. So, applaud that, but take it with a grain of salt when you think the kind of relationship that they have is just perfect and just right for you. So I hope you enjoyed this delicious dating tip, and I'd love to hear your comments. I'd love to hear from you, and thanks for watching.